Hey guys, it's Nicole with A-Frayed-Knot, and today I'm going to show you how to make a porch leaner using the Oh Hello There stencil from Essential Stencil. Here I'm showing you some burlap that I got during the fall time at Hobby Lobby and some ribbon. This is actually a list of the supplies. In order to see the supplies I use, just go ahead and hit pause and you can see the complete list. But the stencil that I'm using is the Oh Hello There stencil from Essential Stencil, and I'm going to show you how I lay it out. The surface that I have, I actually pre-painted in the color Midnight, and it was a surface I got on the clearance section at Hobby Lobby. So I take my stencil and lay it down on my surface, on my board that I did paint ahead of time, and I just tape all of the pieces down. So this is a pretty big stencil. It's about 4 feet tall, and once all laid out, it measures out about 4 feet. So you're going to want to have a surface that is at least 4 feet tall, if not a little bit taller. So you can see what I've done is just get it all taped down, and then I take my stencil brush and I'm using the color Cotton, and I just dab it in to the paint. So the key to stenciling is going to be putting paint on your brush and offloading as much as you can. You almost want a dry brush when you're stenciling. So I just go and I'm going to be stenciling each one of these letters in the color Cotton, and I'm just loading and offloading paint the entire time through the stenciling process. So I just go through. You can both swirl, you can pounce, however you're most comfortable with stenciling. That's what I recommend you do. If you're a swirler, just go ahead and swirl. On the big stencils like this, it's a little easier to do the swirling. But if you're more comfortable pouncing, then just do the pouncing method, whichever one is easier for you. So we're just going through and we're doing the entire board. And again, it's the Oh Hello There stencil from Essential Stencil. When you're shopping over on Essential Stencil's website, make sure and use coupon code AFK10. You will get a 10% savings that way, and you can use that code every single time that you shop with Essential Stencil. So I did flip the board around. That's just so that you could see it a little easier in the camera. And I'm just finishing up with all of the letters. So you want to make sure you are just getting a nice coat of paint on each letter. And in order to achieve that, you might have to layer it. So you start with as little of paint as possible. That's what keeps you from having the bleed through. And then if you want it to be a little more bright of a white, you just add another coat. So again, just offload as much paint as you can and use the least amount of paint possible. So I'm peeling back now that we're done stenciling all the letters, and you can see what it looks like. I'm happy with it. It looks pretty good. So there you get a look at what it looks like, but we're not done because we're going to make a fun bow with this burlap roll. So it's a burlap roll. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. It's not just a seasonal thing. You can find them over in the aisle where all the ribbon is, but they do sell them seasonal. So at fall, you'll find it in the fall section, and at Christmas, you'll find it in the Christmas section as well. So I like to get those once the season is over. They're on clearance, and I stock up on them. So take your burlap ribbon and cut it down to size and then fold it over. And you see how I crisscross that bow? We're just going to layer it. So we're going to have the burlap for the base, and it's going to look like a bow. You're just going to flip it over, and then you're going to take your striped ribbon like you've seen me do, crisscross it, and then take your jute rope and your burlap base and you layer them together like you see me doing right here. So take your jute rope, and that's how you're going to tie it together. So you'll have a burlap base, you will have a striped bow on the top, and then you just loop it together with your jute rope. So the jute rope just literally gets wrapped around it, and then I cinch it off in the back. So the jute rope is going to create a center for your bow. So once you get that looking the way that you like, then what we're going to do is we're going to come along. You're going to leave the tails a little bit longer on your jute rope because you're going to take beads. So I've got a bead that I'm using, and I am just using about, I think I used about 6 to 8 beads on each side, and I just strung the beads up on the tail of the jute rope. So you see I'm just kind of stringing the beads along. And then once I get as many beads as I want, so the beads are essentially going to be the tail of the bow. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So you're going to leave your jute rope a little bit longer and you're going to string the beads up, whichever size you like. It's just going to be a matter of the size of bead that you like or that you have handy. Just use what you've got. So if you've got a certain size of bead, just go ahead and use that. Anything is really going to look cute as far as the beads go. So then once you get them all strung on there, then you're just going to tie a knot at the bottom of where the beads are hanging. That's going to keep the beads in line there and keep them from falling off. So you might need to make a knot several times to make it thick enough so that the bead doesn't fall through. So then I've also got a little bit of greenery that I'm just going to stick inside of where I looped the jute rope around. I'm just going to stick it in there and then ultimately I'll hot glue it so it stays in place. But the greenery is just an added little cuteness to it, and that's just going to go inside of the bow. You see how that looks, and it just kind of hangs down a little bit. So the bow is really simple and fun, but it's very farmhouse looking and I really love it. So then we're just going to put the hot glue up in the corner of our porch leaner, get you a nice generous amount of hot glue on there, and then hold the bow down on top of that hot glue for a little bit until it secures down. And there we have it. I love this fun farmhouse porch leaner and I hope you guys love it too. Let me know in the comments if you're going to make one. I'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for watching.